today as the Abacha loot is back in our conversation again.
The gift that keeps
The
giving.
The gift that keeps giving is in the news. Also, President Tinubu is in the news this time. Kind of very good reason actually. He's now the ECOWAS chairman. I know that a lot, like you said, education for people. We're also here to educate people, and I've seen over the weekend, yesterday, there were a lot of people going on about, okay, how does this ECOWAS thing work? How do people get it? And so we're definitely going to be talking about that. How does an ECOWAS chairman emerge? Who has been what since at least Nigeria became a republic in 1999, because before we saw the fourth republic in 1999. So we'll see a few of that, maybe do a bit of education on that. And on that note, let's get right into it. First things first, talking about courts. Court has ordered the federal government to actually reveal our former presidents, because if I can remember correctly, President Tinubu has not gotten any of those gifts yet. Not that he won't get, he just hasn't gotten yet.
Okay.
If you're wondering what she's talking about when we say gifts here at the bar, we refer to the loot, the Abacha loot. The money that is not allegedly, the money that was stolen by former military dictator Sonny Abacha.
Cashed away.
And how from time to time we as a country, not me as an individual, but we as a country seem to get some of that money back. And so every time it comes, we refer to it as the gift that keeps giving. Even if it is stolen money that we're getting back, regardless, there are some that we will never get back, and it's not Abacha's loot, but it's a story for another day. So yes, it's the gift that keeps giving.
So now, is all that this is a very interesting story, yeah? But isn't he also going to pop up with some, this is under the Freedom of Information Act, which of course this was taken to court by SERAP, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project. Now, I have a few questions.
Before you ask your questions, everybody that is always saying SERAP is always going to court for whatever. Now, this one, it's sweeting people, Abi. You see, that's why.
No. I don't have a problem with them going to court. I just have a problem.
I didn't mention your name now.
No, I know.
Are you speaking on behalf of?
I know, me.
On behalf of yourself.
On this bar, I've said it a few times.
Okay.
That the lot of things that they do is very unnecessary. Yeah, it makes sense. The thing is that just know what you're doing.
You heard what Tokumbo said now, right? Sometimes they go beyond the mark.
A lot of times, actually.
Why are you people like this?
Once in maybe.
Shout out to SERAP, man.
I
you
think
guys.
they hit the mark once in 5 times.
No, but
personally. Anyway, on this particular.
I'm on your side.
Oh, see.
I'm on your side today.
See.
Oh, okay. We're taking sides now.
We should take sides.
Okay, we have to look for a belt to tie this together.
Are you serious? Are you actually serious?
Yeah, so that we can actually take sides. So since you're against SERAP, I am for SERAP today.
We're not against
No, he started it and you didn't stop him. And
we are not against SERAP. We're just saying
you guys are hypocrites because you guys are hypocrites because if you feel that SERAP going to court all the time is frivolous, why are you celebrating this one?
You added frivolous.
Like we said, sometimes.
So what do you feel?
I'm not saying that all the time.
He said sometimes, and you said most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time the things are unnecessary. But on this one, yeah, it works. When some people do bad things, say it. When they are doing good things, you actually also
Who
say.
Who doesn't like money?
No.
$5 billion. Is he a joke to you?
Anyway,
which is no way.
Now it's nice that number one that they've gone to court for this. There's a court injunction to that. Now the interesting part, I think that is we will see how the federal government is going to react to it, because for the presidency of Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the moment, I don't think there's going to be any indictment towards him or his government right now. That he has not even set up a lot of ministers yet.
I don't think
so. I think that it will be easy, but you also know that there's a way that presidency kinds of
I won't let her land.
let me finish.
There will be no landing space for that.
You don't even let me. You didn't let me.
Serap was the one that initiated this case.
Nobody's saying they didn't.
We have all agreed that, and it's a good case.
She was actually.
She can't land, though, Tokumbo. She can't land because government is a continuum. You cannot absorb a Tinubu from any of these cases. You can't.
Why not?
Because he's the president.
Yeah, but he was
true,
not. Yes, I get the fact that
true.
he's the president.
But does he have a case to answer?
No,
Yes.
he doesn't.
Okay.
You see all these other names that they mentioned there? It's him.
Oh, really?
All the Abacha, Tinubu, Abacha, Buhari, Yar'Adua, Obasanjo. It's Tinubu.
You now work for Sarah, but
I don't know what you mean by Tinubu.
Governance is a continuum.
It's a continuum. He represents what he
It's a continuum.
I get it, but
he
it will not answer for what he wasn't part of.
He has to answer for what the federal government has done. He has now assumed the position.
I get it.
Oh.
Is the one or is his government that will provide the
Yar'Adua of
information?
blessed memory. You are going to invite him. You invite Yar'Adua.
That's not about it.
Exactly.
That's not about it.
So what is it about?
No, it's about what happened to the money.
It's what happened to the money. They have
What happened to the money?
they probably have the paperwork and all that because they're in presidency at
What
the
I
moment.
see
So all you need to do is just provide what is available. That's all.
So
You have to
we're
check the books.
definitely focusing on one of the least angles to this story.
But that's part
But
of it, though.
yeah, and it's very good. But that's why I'm going to state it so that we can move on to so many other
All
things.
right. So what other angle?
Whenever a case involves the federal government, regardless of whose tenure it happened under, the current government is involved and they must do what they can to make it work. They must respond and they must provide information. Now, every government has the handover notes that they give to the government that's going to take over from them. They have data that has been kept and has been stored. You know, for instance, when you hear about certain capital projects, for instance, they will tell you, no, it's this government that started it. Do you get what I'm saying? Because we're being petty. The bottom line is that whether this government started it or not, this government has finished it. Do you get? Now, this person can take glory depending on the amount of work that has been done. But you see that governance is a continuum. Now, for any person that comes into government that does not see it as a continuum, they always run into problems. It happened in a state in the southwest, close to the water side. I won't mention the name of the state, but we're not far from that state's capital, where a governor came in and more or less disregarded most of the things that he met on ground. He met on ground certain things and he left them until another one came in 4 years after and picked up from where the one before that one stopped.
Yeah.
Because governance is a continuum.
I
And when a guy truncates it, and when he truncates it,
We
it
agree
affects
with
it.
all that.
So I'm
I
not
agree with that, Shola.
for as
I
long
do.
as Bola Tinubu is president of Nigeria, any matter that they are dragging all of them for, he too has to answer to
Question
it.
from Sarah: what happened to the money?
To the money that, because according to
That's a
them,
question
they're
from
not even
Sarah.
dragging
And I
him. All
agree
they're
with
saying
that.
is he should provide information of the past
And
presidents.
There's no way
That's
to
all.
provide information if it doesn't go back to the books.
Exactly.
yeah.
He
So
will check
how
that.
is that different from what I'm saying?
No, there's a difference.
Oh, yeah, please
No,
explain.
you're saying that he has to answer for it. He's not answering for
When he
anything.
goes back to that book, that's not him answering for it.
Oh,
That's not him answering for it.
It's not. No.
That's not him answering for
No,
it.
I don't think it's.
It's not him. So what's he answering for? He's answering for what?
He's just providing
wasn't-
information.
In
It wasn't
providing, you are not
whatever-
answering.
Whatever happened to
Look
the
at
money?
them. In providing something, you are not answering.
No, wait, whatever happened to the
What
money?
is he doing? He's singing.
Whatever happened to the money?
He is in charge. He
You-
should come and tell us.
He will tell us. Okay. I
Him,
think we
Bola
should-
Tinubu is the
I
president.
think we
Anything
should-
that wants to happen now, look.
Yep. No, I'm not
In
on
the
your side, though. I'm
in
not
the
on
in the
your side,
last
though.
in the last 2 or
I'm
3
only
months,
telling you that as far as I'm concerned.
in the last 2 or 3
this man
months,
he
there were
may-
2 judgments that were given
on this.
against the police and the EFCC. Some of those judgments had to do with the IG and the EFCC chairman's predecessors.
True.
Yeah.
Guess who was going to go to jail for it?
True.
Guess who was going to go to jail for it?
Yeah, because they did not.
Because what?
Because even when they came in, they were supposed to go on with the orders, and they didn't.
They should go and carry the other people that were there before now.
Yes.
They should go and carry the former IG.
You are calling me?
The case was against the former IG.
Yes, you're calling me. I
Yes,
can
please.
hear
So,
you.
I'm sorry. Can we go on to the next one?
Okay, 'cause I
You
was
see,
like,
whatever it is, whatever they do, nobody's going to keep my voice down. What I'm saying is that governance
really?
and management is a continuum.
I use belt for you.
Yes, you don't have a belt that's functional. Governance
Oh my
and
God,
management
really?
is a continuum. And for as long as that is the scenario, and there's been a $5 billion loot that has been repatriated into Nigeria, every single one of them is supposed to account for it. But the person that is culpable and liable at the moment is the current president. It is now for him to come and say, this is what they did. This is what they did, and this is what that one did. That's the way I see it. It's my opinion. I stand by it.
All right. Anyway, let's move on quickly from that. And as we move on, there's a conversation around the president himself finally becoming what's the word? ECOWAS chairman. I think that there is a bit of information that needs to be put in. We need to clear up some things. Chairman is different from president. There's a president of the ECOWAS Commission. For the chairman of the ECOWAS Commission, of ECOWAS, not ECOWAS Commission now, of ECOWAS, it's a 1-year tenure. And this tenure could be renewed. For the post of the president of the ECOWAS Commission, it is a 4-year tenure that cannot be renewed. So yes, there's a president that has been there for I think 2022. He has been there since 2022. Now, I wanted to put a lot of comparisons have come up, like how many Nigerian presidents have been. I think there are about 15 ECOWAS countries. How many Nigerian presidents have been ECOWAS chairmen? So since 1999, Abdulsalami Abubakar was actually ECOWAS chairman from 1998 to 1999. Interestingly, which I thought a little weird, President Olusegun Obasanjo was never ECOWAS chairman.
It was never.
Yeah. Don't you find that a little weird?
That's what the research is saying here.
Yeah, so there was president of Togo from 1999. Then there was president of Mali from 1999, also 2001. Then there was president of Senegal from 2001, 2003. Then there's John Kufuor of Ghana from 2003, 2005. Then there was Madamu Dancha of Niger Republic from 2005, 2008. Then there's Blaise Compaoré of Burkina Faso from 2007, 2008. Then we had Umar Musa Yar'Adua, that was 2008 to 2010. Goodluck Jonathan was the president, was the chairman from 2010 to 2012. Then there was the president of Ivory Coast from 2012 2013. Then there's the president of Ghana 2013 2015. Macky Sall of Senegal from 2015 2016. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf of Liberia of 2016 to 2017. There's president of Togo 2017 2018. Then President Buhari was the chairman of ECOWAS from 2018 2019. Then the president of Niger Republic 2019 to 2020. Then president of Ghana 2020 to 2022. Then the past one was the president of Guinea-Bissau 2022 to 2023 before President Bola Ahmed Tinubu became the current president. Now, so it's a very interesting thing since 1999. President Olusegun Obasanjo, or former President Olusegun, is the only Nigerian president that has not been chairman of ECOWAS.
Whatever reasons, for not me there, for me, I think more or less, when they get there, what do? You know, what's their content, what's their program, what's their policy?
Okay, so ECOWAS actually
Yeah.
comprises of three arms of government. There's the governance, the executive, legislature, and the judiciary. So basically, the chairman is the current head of state of, basically is the head of the, I don't want to say,
Is the chairman though?
yeah, it's the
Okay,
chairman. So
let's stick
he's,
with that.
yes, and also that that implication also means that there is a minister in charge of ECOWAS affairs in each country.
Mhm.
The minister of ECOWAS in Nigeria, which I'm guessing is supposed to be Minister of Foreign Affairs, yeah? So it's automatically the head of ministers, literally, like the chairman of Council of Ministers
In each country.
in each country. So now our next chairman of, our next Minister of Foreign Affairs automatically becomes that
Oh,
at
so
the moment.
It's vacant now.
Yes, we don't have a minister of that at the moment.
Okay.
Also, he's supposed to preside over ECOWAS statutory meetings. So I'm guessing that is going to be happening in Nigeria for at least the next 1 year.
Well, I went through. I read I went through the address or the promises he wanted to. He left at the table of ECOWAS, and I found that the focus for me was very germane, particularly him hammered on security.
Yeah.
Security, because honestly, when you look at it, it's the both internalized security and those affect our African brothers and sisters as well as a nation. Every nation must understand that the plans are for us to have a demarcation. Naturally, we have borderlines separating us. But from each level, I think the cohesion of West Africa is very important. All the states, all the nations need to come together, forget their differences and tribe and religion and language particularly. They should see themselves as one. And when I went through that speech, I found it was actually talking about that. And more importantly, the economic values. He explained that all the nations must come together at a forum to be decided soon. And we'll have them talk about what they have to offer in terms of economy. We can't just sit down and be saying, okay, we have palm oil, we have cocoa far away. Integration is important. You have to come together. And whether we like it or not also, the issue of democracy was always top on the bill for him. When he looked at, he actually said something against the military generally. And that we didn't vote for boots. That no nation voted for boots.
I think that one of the main issues that needs to actually that ECOWAS needs to work on is the recurrent coups that's been happening. The issue of democracy in itself, I think, is something they really need to work on. At the moment, maybe Nigeria is kind of like a country that needs to help.
Okay, because we've had our own share of it.
Yeah, we've had our own share.
Big ones.
This is probably the longest democratic rule that we've had so it's worthy of note. But I feel that a lot of things like insurgencies and all that would probably reduce across board if some of these things can be curbed.
Interesting conversation. I always enjoy listening, and I hope the people on the other side too love watching and listening to us. And for me, I look at ECOWAS, and the first question is, what is ECOWAS? Why so much, talk about ECOWAS? It's not a new body. Started about 49 years ago. Thank God for people like Yakubu Gowon. He was one of the founding fathers of ECOWAS. There's a song by Fela Kuti when he talked about African unity. But there's another one by his son, Femi Kuti, where he talked about African unity also, and talked about how Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana saw the vision and saw the idea. And if you go and check at times, Africa started this group block organization even before Europe and the others.
Yeah.
And then you now wonder, like, what happened?
Where are we in Europe? they've gotten to a single currency market. In Europe, they've gotten to a continent without borders. A picture was trending on Twitter at the weekend. Someone tweeted, the borderline of two countries. No, there was no wall, there was nothing. But he said, when you get to the Netherlands, you would know by the roads. And I looked at it, and one side of that picture showed a road that had markings, and the other one, there were no markings. It was neat, and it was numbers. And I said, okay, that's the Netherlands side, right? Fantastic, yeah? So, Africa has not gotten there. ECOWAS has not gotten there since 1974. Then I asked, what is ECOWAS? Oh, a friend of mine had issues in Nigeria. He was, unlawfully arrested, and he went to the ECOWAS court and got a judgment. And the judgment, I'm talking about my friend Abacha Lingo, and the judgment is that the government is supposed to pay him compensation. This judgment was gotten about a year plus ago. Has it been respected?
Do they actually do our own courts, do the state's courts may basically respect?
So, if I want to go to some of this, they say Nigeria's passport is ECOWAS passport, Abi. That's what they say.
Yeah.
But it's still a Nigerian passport, right? There's WAEC, but we have to create NECO, right? Do you understand? If we're talking about integration, how serious are we? A few years ago, barely 2 years ago, they were talking about a single currency for West Africa. It was truncated. It was truncated.
Wonder, like, whatever happened to that, though?
Exactly. So, if we're really serious, now, there's a story that is out there. Now, Ethiopia is not in ECOWAS, but I want to use it as an example.
Yeah.
The Ethiopian Airlines has trapped funds in Nigeria. Aliko Dangote's company has trapped funds in Ethiopia. Now, this is not a rumor. They are going to swap. Even if Dangote has more money trapped in Ethiopia, and Nigeria is one of the countries that has trapped people's funds more than other countries. We're one of those countries, no thanks to a certain fellow that I cannot call his name.
Oh my God.
I'm not allowed to call his name today.
Bless the Lord.
Eleme Wele.
Oh God.
Is that his name? So, thank you, please, I'm waiting. So what they need to do is that now they're going to swap money, Dangote's money and Ethiopian Airlines money. They have like $100 million. Dangote has about 250 million or thereabout. Do you get? We need to get to a point
do more of those things
where we're doing that without any special arrangement. Now, this is a special arrangement, but it has to be the norm that I can do business in Ghana.
Understood.
I can do business in Cote d'Ivoire.
Sure.
Without any stress.
Without any stress. Yes.
Without any stress.
Maybe this answers for why OBJ saw the confusion and decided not to because honestly, listen, two things.
Okay.
First thing is African countries are not sincere towards themselves.
Yeah.
And are moving into West Africa at the moment, okay? There was a particular time that when you're traveling by road, when you get to the border, when I say border, you know where the border is, where we used to buy the vehicles in those days. We used to buy whatever in those days, okay? Nigerians traveling through that path are made to go through some very important, very terrible rigors. They stress them, you're parked at the border, and I remember that at a point in time, the presidents of both nations and other nations decided to treat this issue, okay? But we didn't get anywhere. Shola, you are extremely very right about these points you have raised. Because if President Tinubu is honestly to make a very strong impact within the ECOWAS sub-region as now the chairman, okay?
Yeah.
They have to align completely. Every nation, every president must sincerely come to the table and say, this time around, this is what we are going to do.
And they should stick with that.
If they don't stay, I think it's still I don't want to use the word mirage.
I
But we are going to go through it again and again and again, and nothing's going to happen.
I know we're about to leave this ECOWAS matter, yeah? But before you go to town and start to jubilate, yeah, you can jubilate, you can celebrate, you can do it's actually a good thing, yeah? Because for me, again, I'm not moved. The reason why I'm not moved is that
We've never really seen any.
I see that ECOWAS chairmanship for Nigeria as a birthright. Please, before you bury me, listen.
Birthright.
Yes. There's hardly any Nigerian president that has not held that position.
That's what I'm saying now. It's only.
Do you
it's only
get?
Except,
Hardly, I said.
okay, no, I was trying to get it.
And your hero, sadly, because you called him OBJ, that's Obasanjo,
Who's
is the exception to the rule. He's Tokumbo's hero and,
Excuse
and
me?
mentor. Now,
And mentor,
yes,
because I called him OBJ.
yes,
Oh, really?
yes.
Okay.
His name is Obasanjo.
Anyway,
SR, go
oh
ahead.
God.
SR, go ahead. I call you
Please.
SR now. Are you my hero?
I am actually.
Okay.
Please,
Moving on.
Please,
So end of the show. Let's
Please.
go home. Let's go
Please.
home. What?
there's been talk of a coastal road, you know, that's supposed to link from Lagos, you know,
Yeah.
all the way to all the coastal part of West Africa. Can we do something about that road
Those
now?
things, yeah.
You know, the Nigerian rail system, especially the Lagos rail, is going to terminate at Badagry. Can we do something about extending that rail line across Africa? If we're really serious, if ECOWAS is going to mean anything, there has to be that seamless connection and connectivity between all our people.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. But quickly, just want to put it out there: the federal government has now moved to repair federal roads nationwide within 6 weeks. They're saying that they've concluded plans to fill up
I'm sorry,
potholes
in
and
6
intervene.
weeks or 6 months?
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Yes, that intervene and repair failed portions of federal roads as the rainy season sets in.
So
Maybe some sort of palliative.
yeah,
But
so it's a fantastic thing that they want to do.
6 weeks.
I live and work in an area where we've recently felt the impact of the federal government, FEMA. You know, it's a body that, you know, it's usually about palliatives. And they
Yeah.
built an entire road.
yeah, they do.
Even if we feel the quality is not great, look, it's changed the quality of life in this neighborhood. You understand? So it's not impossible for them. Now, I'm looking at a guy who was the one that created agencies for specific roles like this, being president of Nigeria. I don't expect anything less.
Less, yeah.
So, but 6 weeks, what they are going to do, please don't get it twisted, is palliatives.
Yeah.
If you want to understand, it has taken about 4 years to build, not fix, build, and I use the word build confidently, the Lagos Ibadan Expressway.
No, it's more than that, though.
Should be more.
It's way more than that.
But go ahead.
No,
Yeah,
the
we get
real
idea.
construction.
I get the idea, though. Well,
Do you get what I'm saying?
I do.
The real
I do.
construction has taken about 4 years.
I do.
But yeah, if I'm not going to sugarcoat, yeah. Okay, 6 years.
No.
6
Ah,
years.
it's a lot more than that.
6 years. 6 years. 6 years. So again, regardless, build.
Yeah.
So we're talking about 6 weeks
In 6
across
weeks,
Nigeria.
it has
It's
to be-
palliatives.
It's definitely.
It's palliatives.
definitely
But those palliatives will make a difference.
Oh yes. Let's
What
not
I want to
lie.
urge them to do is that realize that technology works. Everybody has a smartphone now. Almost everybody does. And you guys are on social media. You have WhatsApp. You have all the other apps. There's Thread. There's Twitter and everything. Let people send you pictures and videos so that you can even assess before going there. And you will prioritize the most, dangerous ones that we can make life easy for people. So I feel that the federal government needs to make a lot of noise about it. A lot.
Yeah. So moving on, still talking about the federal government, a very interesting statistics that I felt that we could just, as much as this shows how much people, when a lot of people have complaints about the airlines and all that in Nigeria, and you're like, at times a lot of people don't understand. So now the federal government had released a report on the list of Nigerian airlines and how well they've done this year. Very interesting. The first quarter of the year, Air Peace had 6,521 flights. In that number, they had 3,754 delayed flights. So 51% of their flights were delayed. Max Air had 1,565 flights, and in that, they had 1,013 flights delayed. That's about 60% of their flights being delayed. Arik Air had 1,619 flights, with 926 of those delayed. United Nigeria Airlines had 910 flight delays out of 1,243. Ibom Air had 2,312 flights with 746 delayed flights. Come on. Come on.
Now,
I had to pen this down.
Overland Airways had 719 flights in the first quarter of the year. 605 of 719 were delayed.
Repeat that number. 719
flights.
flights.
They had 605 that were delayed.
please go to the last one, Green Africa.
Green Africa had 1,182 flights with 443 delays. So it looks like it's time to look at if you want to.
I flew Green Africa last year to Abuja, and I must say a big shout out to them. Yes, I'm starting with the last one. The only problem I had was that the ticket that we bought, they didn't tell us that we couldn't carry a certain number of luggage or whatever. It was affordable, and the staff were amazing. Free advert for Green Africa. The other airlines that you mentioned, I have suffered from them.
No, hold it. That you went through Green
Africa
and was good.
It was good.
Still doesn't answer for the shortfall in
Yeah.
their delays.
But
They have the least.
They have the least number of
least
delays.
They had the least number of delays.
Okay, now go through that. They're coming back to find out what the delays, what causes the delays.
Okay, so one of the things that causes the delays
Yes.
is that they all use the same runway. They all, in every terminal that they operate from, they all use the same runway,
Good. Yeah.
and it is scheduled. You know, you know how Yoruba people say "Ojuorun teyem fo lai faragbara." It's not in the case of planes.
No, we can't
Let me
faragbara.
speak in English. The Yorubas of the world, which I am one of, believe that birds can fly without, hitting.
Like the sky is large enough.
Sky is big enough.
to contain them.
You get. However, in the part of planes, there are birds too, but they have to be scheduled flights, and they follow a certain. People don't know that there are roads in the sky. There's a chart that you have to follow so that you don't go and do Okada in the air. So they share runways, and runways are not things that you just build willy-nilly. So that's one of the reasons why there are delays, because
But there are more international flights that are coming. How come they don't have as much delays compared to?
they have a different runway for the international flights.
I get it.
In Lagos. Do you understand? There are times when they share too. So one of the issues is infrastructure. That's where I was going. Runways. So the government might look at that angle, especially for the busy airports. Lagos, Abuja,
Kano,
Port Harcourt, and Enugu. I think it's Enugu and Anambra. I think it's Enugu. One of the airports in the east, yeah? So, infrastructure. That's one. Mainly the runway.
We need more runways.
I believe.
there's some that just tell you they're not going.
I believe we need to do that. Now,
Some just say they cannot go.
no, it's not like they tell you.
Okay.
They don't even inform you.
They don't. Talking about, see.
You just sit down
Talking
with
about,
your ticket
talking about, we bought a ticket return to Lagos, They had delayed us on the flight to Abuja, me and my team.
Yeah.
They had delayed us on the flight to Abuja for about 4 hours. And when I went to complain, someone said, when I heard them call the flight, that it was time to go to Abuja, I got up, the guy looked at me and said, I just saw you walk in about 4 hours ago. I said, you were checking me? He said, yeah, that he's been here for 6 hours. That I can't be on this flight. I looked at the guy like, me and you are fight. So I walked past him and I went to meet them and said, okay, you're not on this flight. So it was the 6-hour people that were going before us.
So there's a queue already.
That's one. Two, on the return, our flight, they told us to get to the airport by 3 o'clock because flight was for 4. We're supposed to check out of the hotel at 12. But because the flight is 4 o'clock and we're leaving at 3, right? We had to pay the hotel for at least 2 rooms to extend by 4 or 5 hours so that we're not just sitting on the road. Then after spending that much money, we get to the airport and there's nobody at their desk. Maybe you are saying that they'll tell you it's delayed or they're not. This one, there was nobody to talk to us.
No reasons were given.
No reason. You don't even have anybody to talk to. This happened in Abuja on the way back to Lagos. Then we had to go and buy tickets for Max Air. The other airline, we still have our money. It's 2 years, but you still have our money.
Oh, that was 3 years ago.
It was last year, so I'm just saying 2 years. It was last year. It was a couple of months ago. So we had to fly by another airline. That means we had to buy tickets to fly to Lagos. Do you understand what I'm saying? We had to buy tickets to fly to Lagos. Mm-hmm.
So if you had no money on you,
there was a lady that came with a guy that I had not seen in a long time. Apparently that was her boyfriend. Oh, we were chatting and he was like, oh, they're getting married soon and blah blah blah. And when they got there, she sat down and cried. Like, you know what? She had maxed out. They had spent all their money. And she wanted to go back to Lagos. So there and then, when we were rushing to go and buy new tickets from another airline,
she had nowhere to go.
She was making calls. Now, she said that, not like she didn't have money, but she had used up everything she had. So she was making calls. She was the last person to join our flight. She had to scrounge and look for money to buy about 80-something thousand naira ticket. Or is it the one that they will tell you that you are leaving at 9 p.m. and your flight doesn't leave until 11, then you get to Lagos and there's no more Uber at the airport or boat or lag ride? So you see, Nigerian airlines are operating in a terrible realm.
I also
My
think
story
that
is one of the best stories. There
has to be some sanctions.
When you say terrible realm, it means that the system is bad.
Everything about Nigeria's aviation is bad.
I feel that
more than ever,
even
also,
there should be there should be some sanctions. I feel that if there are proper sanctions for these airlines, these things will reduce. They will sit up.
Thank you.
I think if there are sanctions,
there
need to be sanctions.
There is a desk. There's a desk that you can go to and fill a form. We tried to fill that form. And it was months after or weeks after that, someone calls me out of the blue. You had this complaint and everything. And I'm about to go on air. Can you call me back in an hour's time or can I call this number back? That was the last of it, though. That was the end. So, too many Nigerians. Look, there are tales of woe. Like, people who have traveled by air in Nigeria in the last 10 years have suffered. Yeah. And they are paying premium for it. For ordinary economy, like, well, we enter economy, not like we're even going to business.
Somebody was coming in from Dubai, and they advised that they couldn't land in Lagos for any reason. So he has to go and get down at Kano.
Yeah.
They told him he had to go to Kano to get down from Kano. You know, and the way they say it,
there has to be some sanctions. That's where I feel. Anyway, quickly, let's just move on from that quickly.
Dolupo, I'm sorry, I'm very terrible at this. Before you move on, whoever has done this report needs to make it a quarterly thing. In fact, I think us as Boom Radio, we need to make noise about things like this.
We need to follow up on
like on a regular. People are suffering and they are paying money for it.
I think that the fact that this report has even come, because I've never seen a report like this before.
Me too.
So maybe the more they start making noise about it, they'll start
seeing their
nonsense
that
they're doing. Anyway, quickly, the Ondo State Governor, Akeredolu, has now sent a letter to the House of Assembly seeking an extension of his medical leave.
Look.
Okay. This is not giving very good vibes.
I am from Ondo State. He's my governor. I pray that he really gets back, to full health. Mm-hmm. And twice in the last 4 weeks, they have killed this man online. He said he's dead and everything, and thank God that he's still alive. You know, so I'm glad that he's paying attention to his health and everything. It was his wife's birthday, I think, yesterday or so. She had tweeted, you know, that she's 70. And I'm like, oh no, I get you up to 70.
No,
That's
he's
not my business.
No, she's actually a few years older than
Yeah,
he is.
so she's 70. And she tweeted something. She said, health is important. Owambe can happen anytime. And honestly, this is my chance to say happy birthday to
her,
to Dame
Betty
Akeredolu. And I thank God for, you know, our foundation. She's doing a lot in the area of cancer.
Oh yeah.
And God bless her, God guide her, God keep her. But in the same vein, God bless and keep and protect Governor Akeredolu.
Okay.
Aketi.
Mm-hmm.
And can they also allow the deputy governor work? Like, there's a lot of
drama
going
that's
on.
Going on. Yes, exactly.
Now that he's seeking legally an extension to his medical break, can they really let the deputy
just
governor?
let him work?
Because this is why you have a deputy in the first place. You know. We have a message on the YouTube.
We have a message as Bukola Medubi says, we need to do something about Nigerian airlines. Guys, take it up. I totally agree. We will definitely follow this report.
We will.
Looks like, hopefully it's going to be a quarterly thing. Definitely needs to be a lot of noise about it. Now let's move on from that quickly. We'll move on to there are a few stories from a few states. Go on to Anambra State. The issue of Mesoma, about the UTME, we know that she's officially agreed. Now, Governor Soludo is asking that she needs to go for a lot of counseling. And we know that Innocent has withdrawn their scholarship, a 3 million naira scholarship they were giving to her. My question is, why are they not offering that same money to the original girl that got 360?
Someone else has given her 2.5, so
it doesn't matter.
Let them keep their 3 million.
No, I don't think it matters, because the plan was they were going to give the highest person.
They were going to give this person because of the hype around it, her being from their state.
Yeah, but the other girl too is from Anambra State anyway.
She's not Anambra enough.
Oh, she's not Anambra enough. Okay.
If she was Anambra enough, would they not have said in the same vein?
Because
we're transferring this.
What does it take to be Anambra enough?
Ask the people who are saying that the chief of defense, chief of what's that guy?
That is not Enugu enough.
It's not Enugu enough.
One of the service chiefs.
One of the service chiefs is not Enugu enough.
Because I feel that.
Or it's not Igbo enough.
If for them, all they need to do is, because you already planned to give this money out, all you needed to do was transfer it to the
We
crowd that
are
already got
one
it.
nation.
So we're not even ready to have that conversation.
We are one nation, one people.
I think it's unfair.
Innocent as a brand. I think they didn't handle this particular matter very well.
It was bad enough you didn't do your due diligence.
When there was a pushback, Innocent stood by her and said, no, they are standing. No, you don't do that.
You don't stand by. Do you know her
you
from
don't
madam?
do that. No. So, if you go and look at the Twitter handle of their corporate affairs manager, you know, he hasn't deleted the tweets. In the tweet where he was saying, no, we believe this person is genuine. Yeah. And come on.
Everything is. It
was almost as if it was a disorganized situation.
Yeah, because the thing is that we need to be able to look at things genuinely and
put sentiment aside.
Remove sentiments. We need to always look at things the way it is. Obviously, now Jam has been vindicated on this matter. But anyway, Jam has still not said if they are still going to allow her. Last we heard of them, they're not giving her any of the results.
By the way, I want, that was where I want to come from. I think I honestly believe that whoever suggested the lady going for counseling,
the governor,
is.
I think she needs to go to jail.
Is in the light for him, because what's going to be life like for her after now?
She would face. Why he said she needs to go to jail?
Yes.
Is number one, she's not a minor. Number two, you did what you did, then you came on TV indicting a federal government agency.
She said she was traumatized.
You said you were traumatized, that they were attacking you,
Somebody
that they were
gave her
attacking your
that
family.
language.
See, I don't like this. Somebody gave her. She's
The
19.
language to use. I'm not saying
No.
that gave her the opportunity
What she
to be
if at
fraudulent.
19 somebody gave you
No.
and you took it, it was your choice to take it. At 19, you do all that
In
and
Nigeria,
went on for
what is the age of
almost
consent?
13
Constitutionally
or 11.
speaking.
11 or 13, I'm not even sure now.
What is the legal age to get married? 18.
18.
Constitutionally
She's 19. Anything she did with her consent.
Before we move away from this, though, I personally feel for her. You know, let's say he, without saying, cast the first stone. You understand? But
I don't know that kind of
you know,
stone.
my opinion,
Kind
my
of stone.
opinion, right?
This kind of stone
Let
is
he,
hard.
without saying, cast the first stone. So I feel for her. Actually, I do. But again, there's something called precedent. JAMB has actually dealt with a lot of people who are falling into our category.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to shift ground on it, especially with the kind of leader that they have. A man
And with
who
the
is
kind of
known-
noise that
who
the
is
girl
a
really
man who
attracted
is
to them.
known to do the right thing at the right time. So a big shout out to Professor Ishak, you know, and his entire team for, you know, standing their ground. Their PRO guy is so on point, so intelligent. So shout out to Jam. Thank you for doing what you do. And whatever it is, let the people who were trying to foment trouble really stand by this lady now, because she needs it. This is the time where she has to go through the whole process. We always say put the law first. And yes, you have erred and you have to pay.
Okay, moving on from that, going to another state. Now, Osun State is in the news as well. Now, the Muslims' rights concern Murik is in the news condemning the Osun State governor. They're saying that he must be a secret agent for the Christian Association of Nigeria. Why? So apparently, his list of commissioners has 7 Muslims and 17 Christians. What? You're laughing. That's what they said, according to them. Muri condemned it and referred to the appointment as a wanton blockage of privileges that should go to Muslims being diverted to over-pampered and overfed Christians in the state.
Okay. Has the governor said anything so far?
No, but I'm reading their statement.
No, I mean, his governor has not replied to them.
No, they've not replied them.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so if my memory serves me properly, Osun State has a large number of traditional worshippers, especially Osun worshippers. Please, Governor Adeleke, when are part of these people going to be in your commissioners list? I think they deserve some form of representation as well. If what we're doing is across religious lines, or am I wrong in this part? Everybody deserves some level of representation.
I don't know. When things come this way, we look at religion, we look at tribes, we look at... I get physically fed up. This is my opinion. I honestly get fed up. Because I do not think I would deny anybody a placement, in my cabinet, just because he's from another religion. That is for me. However, there are some things we call balancing.
Mm-hmm.
And as a governor, anybody as a leader, balancing acts are usually sensibly applied, especially when the polity is a little bit murky. I do not know why the reasons behind this. That's why I kept saying, has the governor responded?
Yeah.
And you rightly said he has not.
Yeah.
And I honestly would want the governor to talk. There must be somebody to give them a response. And back to our general talk, we are coming back to it. this issue of tribe, creed, culture, and religion knocks me. It knocks me. On our lineup, we have not talked about the IPOB issue.
Yeah.
But I just want to use that to say something now and go back to where we're coming from. That everybody, everyone who represents the Southeast as a leader, and I mean what I'm saying, as a leader, let us think and go back home to sort the sit-at-home thing. It's becoming very, now if the governor cannot move it, then people who, we love to say we belong. I love to say I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
You love to say you are a Muslim. Let us put it to practice. This is part of what I'm seeing now. In Osun State, the governor should talk quickly and explain things.
Yeah.
If he does not explain things, it could get worse. But he has to explain things. I'm sorry about it. He has to say something.
Okay. 10 months after the immediate past governor of Osun State was appointed, Governor Oyetola, he finally released the list of ministers. 10 months.
Mm-hmm.
Any difference from the current guy now?
He is even faster.
Do you understand? You get it, right?
So apparently, I did a little bit of digging,
and
the 60-day window that it's in the law now actually only applies to the president.
Now,
I saw it too.
Now,
he only applies.
The full list of commissioners under the immediate past governor, who of course is a Muslim, Oyetola, right?
Yeah.
Is Adebisi Obawale Simeon, Ibitoye Felix Adeniran, Oladepo Sholagbade Atonda, Aje Fesini Abiodun, Mumuni Adekunle Raifu, Ogunfolaju Olushola, Oladimeji Samson, Agunbiade Nathaniel, Ola Onikpekun Henry, Oladoyin Olayinka, Adeleke Adebayo, Olamiju Olashiji, Yinusa Olalekan, Rafiu Isamotu, Oyebamiji Bola, Omowaye Oluremi, Olawale Babatunde Olumide, Olaniyan Hussein Toke. It's a long list.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why I'm running through, and I'm going to stop myself there. What I'm trying to say in essence is that I did not hear Murik say anything
about it
in 2019. I did not hear them say anything, even a while after when he released another list of appointees. We cannot continue to bring religion into everything.
Why?
They came out and said that a Muslim ticket was all sorts of things. Now, I see people bringing out statistics of all the appointments that this current FG has made. There are more Christians than Muslims. Am I right?
Yeah.
These are facts. But why are we
the fact that we even have to wrap around?
Why are we so
if we're not wrapping,
into this religious thing?
If it's not religion,
we're
then
not
it's
caring anymore about who can do the job.
What worries me?
We're in a dangerous place.
Very dangerous.
So for Murik or Murik or music or whatever they are, and Khan and all these religious bodies, can you tone it down?
Keep quiet.
What do you want people who are not Christians and Muslims to say?
All right,
and there are quite a few of them. There are quite a few of them.
I'm
sorry.
Sorry, yeah. Before we leave, there's a story that dropped that I feel that is something, especially was a state like Lagos State, that I think would benefit them a lot, benefit other states. Now, Borno State government has today now banned metal scavenging. Now, let me explain a bit. The governor has announced that following on the spot assessment of discovery of large number of metal scraps believed to be government property.
Yeah.
Okay. Believed to be government property.
Said it was on site tour of projects and came across large quantities of metal scraps, a substantial number of them believed to property belonging to federal authorities and the Borno State government. It said about 1,000 of people were killed in the state as a result of metal scavenging, adding that people go to extreme in the business, with some allegedly stealing public property that include streetlight poles, tanks, and other things that actually belong to the government, and thereby killing people. This reminds me of a particular lady a few years ago that died when she fell into a manhole, open one, because some unfortunate person, someone that unfortunately is already following them from their village, decided to steal it. It's something that we see all the time these days. If you go through Ikorodu Road, you see that they're now changing the stolen manholes from the metal ones to, I think, is being cast.
Yeah.
Casted.
Yes, just because people are just unfortunate. I think this is something other state governments need to look into.
We need a deterrent, you know. Somebody needs to just catch up somebody somewhere. Let's have an example to be made out of somebody. Because it's sheer wickedness, and that's honestly very unfair. Very, very unfair. What do they... Okay, I asked this question the other time. I don't know the answer Shabba gave me. When they remove these things, what do they melt them?
Oh yeah, they sell them off and then they melt them to okay, so I'd spoken to someone before, someone that maybe has, remember there's this set of spoons that are so thinly made that if you're not careful they will cut your lips.
Yes.
So
is it panda they call?
yeah, so they're not necessarily the same material that they're using. The manholes have a market. Don't get it twisted. Either they are being melted or not. There's a massive market for it. There's a video that's gone viral. A guy who's going from old to old, you know, picking up manhole covers. And these particular ones are the grid-like types, not the ones that are flat. So those ones are the ones that you can melt and remold. But you see those particular thick ones that are circular and heavy, they actually sell them as it is. You know, because a lot of construction and things.
There's a market for that.
Oh, there is a market for it. Look, talking about there's a market for everything.
No.
There's a market for, you know, stolen cables, electricity cables.
If there's no market for it, people
there's
will
a market
sell
for
them.
everything.
We can trace that.
Yes, you can.
We
But
can
the
trace
thing
that.
now,
That's what I mean.
is until everybody agrees
That
that
there's a
it is
problem.
wrong, they don't see it as a problem, so they see it as business. And some of these people are going to come on social media and condemn
say
and condemn
government
and
is
say,
bad.
but they're the
Yeah.
ones behind the problem.
Exactly.
It's so risky.
This
People
thing is
fall
a
into
pandemic
it.
level. Someone took a picture of a particular part of Abuja on Saturday, and this
Well, there's a
particular
whole
road,
stretch, there was
all the manholes are
manholes
gone.
were gone.
An entire road.
So it's gone national.
It's always been.
It has always been a national thing.
Okay.
Anyway, on that note, that is all we have take today on the Boombar. Thank you for listening. Thank you very, very much for watching. We'll be back again at 3 p.m. West African time to give you more gist and more stories around Nigeria and the world.
Peace.